Hey guys, it's Megan. So on today's video, I am going to be trimming my hair a la the Brad Mondo method. So full disclosure, I'm in my bathroom to try to have some quiet space. So it's a little echoey, sorry about that. And the lighting is just make me look real red, but that's real life. A couple things about my hair. First things first, I have not had an actual salon, or even when I say salon, I mean random haircut place. I'm trying to think of even the name. I'm that's how long it's been, Sports Cuts or, one of those kind of places, since I think probably October of last year, and before that had been forever and ever. So it had kind of gradually gone from a middle length haircut all the way to what it is now. So this color, I decided I'd always wanted to have green hair ever since middle school. I remember trying to convince my mom to just let me dye the ends green, because green's my favorite color. And I was approaching 30 and I decided if I'm ever gonna do it, now's the time. So I did this basically over my work spring break, and it worked out for me. It turned out very green. I'll insert pictures from the first day, but we got it to fade down a little bit. And it's now been almost 2 months since my initial. I haven't touched my roots with any bleach since. I'm kind of just letting that grow. But it's been 2 months and it's starting to kind of be a little less of a straight line, a little more dispersed. So I'm just gonna kind of let it do its thing. It doesn't bother me, and most of the time, in a nice photo, a good angle, it looks like a little shadow root and not a whole thing. So that's my hair story for hair color. Now with my ends, because I'd been bleaching, even though I wasn't bleaching the ends after the lightening process all the way to platinum, I had some damage on the ends of my hair and I wasn't cutting it super regularly, so that was becoming apparent. So what I did for quite some time was I just kind of go in and take my little scissors and I find some split ends and kind of clip and do that. And in March, I did a larger cut where basically I did the same thing. I went through and kind of, as I saw split ends, I did some clipping, and then I also took the top part of my hair and then the very bottom part of my hair, split it apart and did some thinning. And I don't know if you can tell, but my hair is very thick. That's something I get a trim and it looks like I had a full haircut left on the floor. That's just it. And I see if I have some photos from when I did just the thinning to show you just how much was there. I have a whole photo of just overflowing hair clippings from thinning, and there's still so much hair going on. But the kind of downside of that is that the bottoms of my hair, or the ends right now, are really looking scraggly, because I basically was just clipping off dead ends and then I went through the insides and thinned out. So I took out a lot of weight so my hair wouldn't poof out, and that's really helping kind of it come down. But then the ends are all kind of and they're not dead. I don't know if I'll be able to show this very well. They're not split ends. It's just a lot of not great length. So what I decided to do today, because it's time for a trim, to try out Brad Mondo's method on my hair to kind of even up the ends just a little bit. I'd like to still have some texture. Any layers that are happening are just remnants of old haircuts and whatever, but I am going to trim up my ends. So I'm going to section my hair, I think, into 6 sections, 3 for each side, because again, even though the ends don't necessarily look like there's that much, when I get the bulk of my hair, even just this section of a third, up at the top is a good bit of hair. So just half of my head, it's a pretty decent amount, but you can kind of see it falls off there at the end. So I want to kind of just deal with some of that to make it a little fuller on the bottom, or fuller appearing on the bottom, a little less scraggly bottoms, but still kind of much thinner and lighter than it has been. And I don't want to take a whole lot of length off, but I could totally see coming up to almost my this V of my V-neck, to just kind of take some weight off and when I want to curl my hair, let my curls do what they need to do, because my hair is so heavy it kind of pulls them down. So I'm gonna get started. The materials you need for this are some clippers, hair cutting scissors. I have an Amazon set. It's got the scissors and thinning shears. I won't use these today, and some combs. So we'll definitely use a comb and the scissors. And I also have some hair ties. I couldn't find my really small little elastics, but I'm not super butthurt. Like, this is where I started. So if it ends up being a little less than perfect because I had to use larger hair ties, I think I'll live with that. So there we have it. I've got 6 parts in my hair. The two sections on the front are much smaller, just because I kind of went based on my ear. I don't know, that just felt right. So some of these back sections are a little bit bigger, but I don't think that they're like too much. And again, anything's better than what's happening right now. So we'll move on to the next step, which is starting to place the hair elastics. So I've placed those front hair elastics just to get them on my head. Now I'm going to pull things down to the length that I actually want, so that I have them in place for that. Call in the cavalry and have some help on the back.
A few moments later.
All right, I received assistance. I know it's kind of curving when I'm turning, but the ones in the back are done to the best of my fiance's abilities. Actually, whatever, I don't want to pull it forward and mess it up. So then the next step is going to be to go in and point cut. So this is where the real fun happens. I have tile floors, so we're just going to let it fall and we'll sweep it up later. I know this looks like a lot, but like, look how scraggly that is. Like, I have to, just gotta go. We're gonna call that good enough for now and move on to the next. So I think on these, I'm gonna cut straight across, and it's still a lot of hair in these sections, but cut straight across like down there and then point cut up. We're gonna call that good enough. Wow, I really took off length, huh? The gravity of how much hair I was cutting off did not really hit me until right now. That's fine. It grows back. Clip these guys out of the way and actually remove those. Okay, girl. Miss like lob medium hair girl. Okay, part we're gonna have to fix in a minute. Oh, better. Oh, we'll see. As good as we're gonna get it. Oh, no. Okay. Well, y'all, we have some ends to clean up. I'm probably gonna need some help with it, but not too bad. All right, so now that I've cut off a majority of the bulk, I don't remember if this is something that Brad did or not, but I'm gonna kind of go around and just kind of look at each piece and figure out if there's anything like super off and kind of go around like that. I know pulling it forward probably isn't the best, but unfortunately it's very hard to do this on your own hair. Why does my thumb look like that? Holy. I'm gonna have some assistants coming, kind of look over. Look at my shirt. Oh, I'm covered in hair.
A few inches later.
All right, so here's my hair at the end of step 1 with a little bit of help to come in and even out like stuff in the back and between sections because I can't see that part of my head. So now I'm gonna do kind of the next part, just kind of check because I do think this part doesn't seem to be coming down more than here, but over here it does. That like over direction that Brad talks about in his videos. Yeah, this side is definitely longer than that one. That should help just kind of bring that in a little bit. Okay, so the next part of his tutorial kind of has you, and I guess you don't have to do it, but has you section off for these because we're doing kind of top parts. I'm just gonna do like 4. Probably should do more, but whatever. But I'm gonna do quite small, I say small, but quite small portion of the top on these. And then this is just meant to kind of like keep the hair together. And this is gonna be where we kind of take the ends, take any high points off, which I don't really have a lot, but just add a little bit of texture. Okay, and I kind of already went heavy with the initial cut, so that's probably pretty good. And then we'll just do that a couple more times around. Just makes it look a little less like, and I feel like it's still a pretty blunt cut for what I came from, but definitely a little more kind of evened out. So we'll do that on this side. A little bit of texture in there. Okay, and then one last time. So like no much of stretch of the imagination is this like a perfect cut. Like some of these pieces also were like further back and now they're up and they kind of look sticky outy, but all said and done, I think it's better than it was before. And most of the time I have my hair wavy anyway, not like full curl, but wavy, so that'll probably hide some of that. And I'm just gonna let it grow for a bit and then maybe come back later and touch up a little bit. I have a very strong too much gene, so my tendency is to kind of go too hard too much, as I'm probably showing you right now. So I don't want to overdo it. Like hair grows back, but it does take time, so I think we'll leave it there for now. But ta-da! All right, so here is freshly showered with like a little bit of curling cream. You can see here any sort of like problems with the bottom, you can't even tell when it's curly, so I think that really works. So I give that like an 8.5 out of 10, not because Brad's technique was bad, probably because mine was not the greatest, but overall I took some length off and I feel refreshed and refined, and that itch to do something to my hair is now gone, so that's a good thing.